We greet you once again on this Monday, the opening day of the Gillette AFL trade period, and it has been an action-packed day. The big news from here at trade headquarters is the late afternoon deal involving Brian Lake from the Western Bulldogs off to Hawthorn. Let's hear from the key players, Jason McCartney from the Bulldogs and also Lake's manager, Marty Pask.
Yeah, look, it was something that probably come up last week in some discussions with Hawthorn and Graham Wright in particular. It's a pretty tough decision, obviously. An All-Australian and also a best and fairest winner at our football club. But in the end, it really did come down to list management. And a player is 31 next year, in the last season of his contract next year, he would become a free agent at the end of next season. And in discussions with his management, you take that into consideration. So we think we're in an unprecedented position now, though, because we have actually secured 3 first-round draft picks and 6 inside 50, which obviously we're ecstatic about today, getting Lockie Hunter as a father-son. So we think we're in a really good position moving forward now with the selections we've got going in the national draft.
And then Brian, obviously, from his point of view, wanted to go somewhere that he was going to have some success and try and push for some success. And he's probably got 3-4 years left of football, and we hope that's going to be with Hawthorn.
It is really bombshell news, and we're joined by Ashley Brown, senior writer with us here at afl.com.au. We've both been reporting on Trade Week for a long time. It's now the trade period. This is huge on the Monday.
I don't recall in 20 years of doing this such a big deal to go down on the first day. We sometimes get them later in the week. We get stuff happening on the last day that makes us think, gee, that's interesting. But on the first day, Matty, quite stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what does Hawthorn get out of this, and what do the Bulldogs get out of it? It's a very interesting strategy from the Dogs.
Well, on paper, it's the classic win-win, Matty, because Hawthorn get the key defender that everyone seems to think they're missing. It's a missing piece of the puzzle for their premiership window, which is wide open. The Bulldogs now get 6 picks inside the top 50. One of them is Lockie Hunter, who they got today as a father-son, but it really sets them up to tackle the draft in a very big way. And as we've seen with teams like Hawthorn back in 2004, you can build a premiership team on the back of having so many picks in one draft.
We've got another deal done today. That is Angus Monfries. He is leaving the Bombers and heading home to South Australia. A 4-year deal for him at Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it is a good result because given the situation with Brendan Goddard coming in the door, it gives us some compensation given the way the formula is set up by the AFL. So no, we're happy to get some compensation. Unhappy to lose him, but definitely happy to get some compensation.
So Monfries off to Port Adelaide for that third round draft pick 48. What do you reckon, Ash?
Well, I think it's a good deal. He goes back home. Monfries back to South Australia where he's from. Interestingly, Peter Rode, the football manager from Port Adelaide, likened it to Jay Schultz, who also went back to South Australia to Port and has played some really good football. So I think it's a good outcome for both clubs.
We've got another deal to talk to you about, this one for St Kilda. They have recruited 21-year-old Tom Lee, who had a pretty good year in the Waffle. Now, he was a pre-selected player by GWS, so that's the mechanics of that. A good pick-up, you think, Ash?
Well, St Kilda they've got to start looking to pass the Kazitsky-Rewalt stage of things for them. They get pick 24 in exchange, an early second-round pick, which then puts them into the ballpark to pitch at a player perhaps like Mitch Brown from West Coast.
All right, let's have a listen to what the Saints had to say.
We think that Tom is someone worthy of a pick around that range. He's shown great form in the Waffle. We obviously have a need to fill in the key forward area moving forward, and I think Tom will be fantastic in that regard.
Okay, another talking point, of course, has been at Collingwood with Sharrod Wellingham and Chris Dawes on the table. Interestingly, nothing from the Magpies at the end of the trade talks here today. We understand that their representatives departed by another exit. Didn't come past us here in trade headquarters. What do you think about all of the ducks and drakes going on here, and where are both these deals at, these potential deals at?
Well, we're one day into a 3-week period, Matty, so this is going to play out for a while, I think, and what we got with Lake and Hawthorn was unusual. We're not going to get too many more big deals done anytime soon.
We were talking about the father-son selections a little earlier in the day in our report. That's the other news out of Melbourne today, that Jack Viney has fronted the cameras about his arrival at Demonland. Let's hear what he had to say.
I'm wrapped. Just being able to get the opportunity to hopefully play footy, what I've grown up loving, and I've just wanted this opportunity ever since I can remember.
If you were to give a description of a player or types of player that we need to help us progress up the ladder, Jack fits that description really well.
I think it's a bit of a relief for Melbourne, and they are certainly players, as we spoke about earlier, in terms of the rest of the trade period. What else have they been up to?
Well, what this sets them up with, we've got pick 3, pick 4, pick 13. So they're now in the frame, again, using these mini draft selections to possibly get Jesse Hogan, the West Australian, over with pick 3 or 4. And certainly Tim Harrington, Melbourne's list manager this afternoon, seemed to indicate that was a possibility.
Yeah, we had confirmation on that from Tim Harrington and also from Stephen Silvani at GWS. Let's listen.
We made some positive inroads today, so we're very optimistic and positive that a deal will be done within a short period of time.
We're in discussions with Melbourne now.
So the potential is, Ash, that GWS could have picks 1, 2 and 3 in the national draft.
That's right. They've positioned themselves really well again for another big run at the best young talent in the country.
It is going to be a very interesting few weeks.
Looking forward to it. Much to talk about over the next few days.
Thank you so much for your time, Ash.
Good to be here.
Ash Brown with us, and you can read his stuff online. You can also have a click around. You'll find Gillette Trade Radio is on the air. You can also find lots of other content within our trade hub. So as I say, click around, go to Twitter. It's all there for you. Now, before we go, there is one other story to actually tell you about today. Would you believe Port Adelaide has announced its new coach? Formerly, we knew the news was coming. Ken Hinkley, though, has been formally unveiled, and we can cross to Adelaide now and have a listen to what he had to say today.
Never was there a doubt that I wanted to be an AFL coach. Never was there a doubt. I mean, I've been through a very long journey and, really passionate about getting to the opportunity because I have, great belief in what perhaps I'm able to do.
Ken Hinkley, the new coach of Port Adelaide. It is not often that a coaching appointment is the last item on the news agenda, but so busy has this opening day of trade talks been here at Etihad Stadium. We have had so much to tell you about. Click back soon to afl.com.au because this is the place where footy news happens.